Hello and welcome to Virtual Vision Show 2020. My name is Jarek Bogalecki, and from the other screen, I'm joined by my coworker, Jakub Wojtasz.
Hello, everyone.
It's great having you guys here. And without further ado, let's just jump into the topic of today's presentation, which is image dataset management, how Zilin.io facilitates our work. So first off, let's establish what Zilin.io actually even is. Well, it's a hosting service that's owned by Adaptive Vision Spółka z o.o., our company based in Gliwice in southern Poland. Now, Zilin is a hosting service that allows you to conveniently upload and share your image files between you, your business partners, your clients, but also your fellow company employees. However, by far the most important aspect of Zilin is that it allows you to perform graphical annotations on those images without modifying the actual images themselves. Those annotations can be reviewed by designated users, which is very much in handy when a client sends you images and wants you to annotate some defect that they describe in words, but they are not satisfied with your annotations. Well, Zilin allows you allows the client to manually fix those annotations themselves. That way you're both on the same page. So it's very much useful in your machine vision application. But Zilin is also very much useful for in other industries as well. You can import and export the masks that you thus create, and you can integrate them with your machine vision system. But the formatting of those masks, the JSON files that the masks are exported in, is already fully compatible with that of the Adaptive Vision Deep Learning add-on. So if you have it, if you have the Adaptive Vision Deep Learning add-on, then then Zilin is a great way to complement it. So what exactly are we going to be doing here? Well, first off, we're going to be describing the step-by-step just how you can learn the basics of Zilin, which will begin by getting to know the application interface window. We'll see how we can assign various roles to various users. We'll see how we can upload images and create a project linked to those images. And in this project, we can perform the annotations and we can review the annotations. And we'll see how we can export and import masks through the JSON file I mentioned earlier. And we'll finally see how we can interact with the Adaptive Vision Deep Learning Editor. So first step is to get to the main website of Zilin, which is zilin.io. So let's just do that. So we're here, and you can press try for free if you want to, if you want to register an account. But if you already have an account, you press sign in, and I type in my email address under which I'm registered. I have an account registered, and here we are in our workspace. Now, here, this is the Virtual Vision Show 2020 workspace, which I created specifically for this presentation. If we extend this list, we can see other workspaces that we have here. We can add new ones if we so wish. We can delete a workspace, we can change its owner, we can rename it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so in order to learn how to go about Zilin, you need to understand those things to the left of the screen, those sections. So let's see the team section. Here, as you can see, there's just me. There's just the owner of the workspace. But I am free to add new users to it, and each of these users will be assigned a different role. These roles can range from manager through developer, collaborator, guest, and worker. And all you need to do is basically type in the address of the person that you want to involve in the project. And even if they don't have a Zilin account yet, they will still receive an email message, and they can click on the link provided there. And upon registering an account, a Zilin account, they will be led straight to this dataset, and they will be able to do whatever it is you wish them to perform. We're going to see it in action shortly. Now we have the dataset. What is a dataset? A dataset is, like the name implies, the place to store your data. So you can have, say you have a bunch of images that display an object in an acceptable shape, and a bunch of images stored in a folder with an unacceptable shape. Each of them would belong to two separate folders, or in the case of Zilin, a dataset. So you can say object OK would be dataset number 1, and object ng would be dataset number 2. And again, we'll see how to do it in a minute. Once we've uploaded images and we've published those images as part of a dataset, we can link the given dataset to a project. And inside the project, we can perform all the annotations, all the reviews, all the importing, all the exporting that we talked about. And soon we'll see how to go about it. But first, let's just have a look at the tutorial section. As you can see, there's a bunch of training videos, tutorial videos that I recommend that you check out. And also we have API generation. This is for slightly more advanced users who want to integrate Zilin into their system. And there is very handy documentation that will let you have a look at some of the details. And I especially recommend that you check out the sample code for the JSON file using the formatting that's compatible with Zilin, but also, like I mentioned, with the Adaptive Vision Deep Learning add-on. So that's, like I said, for advanced users, we'll not be tackling into this too much. Okay, so first, let's see how we can go about creating a simple project. Let's say that my coworker Jakub is actually from another company, and that he has some assignment for me. Let him call me in my office now to talk about it. Hello?
Hello, Yarek. Listen, I have an assignment for you. I just received a shipment of facial masks from China, and I want you to perform some annotations on them. Could you find torn material around nose wires, excessive foldings, and also measure regular foldings on those masks?
I see.
Also note if a mask should be considered acceptable or not.
Okay, Jakub, no problem. I definitely can do that. Of course, as usual, what I would like you to do is to upload the images to our Zilin workspace. But for now, you're still not part of this Zilin, so of this workspace. So I'm going to add your email address there, and you'll be able to do that. So if you were so kind as to wait just a second, and you will receive an email as soon as I've added you.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. So just come back to you in a minute. Okay, so as we've heard on the phone, there's something that Jakub wants us to do, some annotations project for his facial masks. So what we need to do right now is to add Jakub as a new user of this workspace. So I'm going to type in his email address, and I'm going to assign him the role of the collaborator. And I hope that Jakub will be so kind as to explain why the role of the collaborator, rather than any other, is most suitable for him. So I'm clicking. The moment I click add, an email has been sent to his to this address. And upon clicking it, Jakub will be able to enter it and then just freely upload the images as he wished. So I'd say that we should probably let Jakub take over for now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Jakub is free to. Yeah, I think he started sharing the presentation right now.
Okay, so I've heard that Jarek added me to his new workspace. Here I'm logged in under my account. Here I can see my own workspace, and after refreshing Zin's website, the new workspace is available for me to enter. So let's enter here, And as you can see, apparently I am just my role is a collaborator, because I'm not allowed to enter the team section. It's a safety mechanism because sometimes you want to have different people in your workspace, like different kinds of like people from different companies maybe, and you don't want them to see one another's identity. So it's a pretty handy safety mechanism. In order to create that data set, of course, you have to enter dataset section, click create new dataset. You can give it a name, let's say batch A. You can add a description here, and uploading images is pretty simple. You just select images, drag and drop, and upload. And after all the pictures have been added, a really important thing is to click publish dataset to make it possible to add the dataset to the project Jarek is about to create. So publish. And because I'm just a simple collaborator, I'm not allowed to create projects. Jarek is going to do it for us. So let's come back to Jarek.
Okay, okay, Jakub. So thank you very much for for uploading the images, and let's go back to my screen. And let's see if Jakub actually, yeah, looks like he successfully uploaded the images just as he promised. So now this data set is published, so we are free to create a project linked to it. So let's do that. Let's go to the projects and create a new project. So first of all, obviously, we need to think of a name. So let's call it batch A inspection. And we need to choose the dataset. This is a list of all the published datasets that we can link to this project. We click add. Now it's done. So that's the datasets are done. Now the project knows what images should be included in this project. And now we move on to the annotation tools. And here we have the annotation tools include the marking tools, the attributes, as well as the questions. And let's have a look at the marking tools. What are those? Well, a marking tool is basically a way for you to draw a particular shape on your image. Let's extend the list here. And as you can see, we have a bounding box, a brush, a line, an oriented rectangle, a point, and a polygon. And all of those correspond to various shapes that you might use in order to annotate an image. We will see some of them very shortly. And yeah, actually, let's just add the tools that we need for this particular project. So first of all, remember, Jakub, if you were so kind as to look at my screen right now, Jakub wanted us to find the following. First of all, we need to find the torn material here. This is around the torn material around the nose wire for a facial mask. This is the area that you need to squeeze in order to fit onto your nose, you know. And if we can see a lot of white here, that means that this material is torn. And that's going to be our first. We're going to call it torn material. And we're going to assign it the tool type brush. We can determine whether we like this color or not. So we add it. And now we add the other tool. The other tool is excessive fold. Now, during shipment, it may very well occur, if I can get your attention again to my screen, to my camera view. Sometimes a mask can be folded, irregularly. Like this, can be maybe like this even, or anything might happen possibly during shipment. That's normal. So, but that's obviously not something that you want to your customers to get a hold on. So in this case, I would say we need a polygon, because it can be rather regular but also irregular shape. We never know. So I'd say a polygon here would be the best choice. And let's give it maybe some more appealing color, because so it's a little bit easier on the eyes. And finally, we need also to measure the regular foldings. Again, please look at my camera. Foldings right here, those here. We're going to mark just one of them and measure its length. But first we need to find it. So let's use the line tool and call it regular fold. Okay. Okay, so let's say that we found a regular fold. We marked it. So what now? How can we possibly provide it with a length? We're just marking it. We're not measuring this in any way. Well, we can actually attach some value to it. What kinds of value? Well, that's where the attributes come in. You can actually, an attribute answers some sort of query, and those answers can range from a yes or no, one of the many possible answers, several of the many possible answers, some textual value, some numerical value. It can be a simple pass or fail answer, or can just determine whether this marking tool belongs to the training or test set. In this case, I would say that the query would be length in pixels. So obviously the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be just a number, some kind of number. And we need to select the scope that we want to see. We're not interested in any numbers for the torn material or excessive folds, just the regular fold. So that's what we're adding here. And let's make it required. Let's add it. And finally, we also need to add one question. Now, what is a question? Have a look. We can see that's the exact same stuff as the attributes. So what's the difference? The difference is actually very simple. A question concerns only the whole image, the image as a whole. As you can see, there's no scope here. We can't select a marking tool to attach to it because a question is about an image. An attribute is about one marking tool or more marking tools, but it's always about a marking tool. A question is about the image as a whole. So we wanted to determine whether the status of a mask. So let's give it a pass or fail, whether this image belongs to the pass or fail category. And the default name for it is status, actually. Let's make it required as well. And we're done doing the annotation tools. Now all that's left is simply to make sure who is responsible for what. Now, here we have the list of all the members of the team, and we can assign them the role of either the annotator or the reviewer. I'm going to be performing the initial annotations, so I'm going to be the reviewer. Let's add me. What about Jakub? Well, Jakub is going to actually review those annotations, so he's going to be the reviewer. Let's add him, and we're done. We can have a look at the activity log, and we can see what happened in the nearest past. So now that we are done, we can publish the project. Yeah, we publish it, and we're free to start annotating it. So we click Start Annotation, and let's have a look at the application window. We can determine the zoom, the opacity of the masks. We can determine whether to show attributes or not. I'm going to let you see just in a minute. Undoing and redoing the name of the image. We can see some annotation progress here, the data on it, and of course we can see the tools that we need to use. So let's begin by finding some torn material, and this is the brush. So we can use Control and the mouse roll to find the the torn material, and let's save it because there's definitely lots of it. Now we have the excessive fold, and this is definitely some excessive fold right here, and this is the type polygon. Okay, now we need to have the regular fold, and let's right here. And now we can see that we need to set the attribute and the length in pixels, and we won't be able to proceed until we're done it. So let's say we measured this mask before in the Adaptive Vision Studio, and we've measured the width of this regular fold there, and we know that it's, for example, 400 pixels. Let's save it. And finally, we need to answer the question. Does this mask fail or pass inspection? I say it fails, definitely. There is so much wrong with this. And we submit it. We can skip this image as well, if we so wish. Now here, let's see. Is there any torn material on this mask? Yeah, there is. And I'd say that's all. The excessive fault, yes. There is definitely some excessive fault here. We're going to, okay. Regular fault. Okay. Let's say it's 400 again. And like I said, if we use the show attributes option, we can see the value right here. So it's very useful when everything is on the screen. You don't have to click on everything manually. Does this mask fail or pass inspection? It fails, definitely. Oh, there's lots of torn material right here again. It's not exactly the great shipment. I'm afraid Jakub might need to change his his supplier, because that doesn't look very good. Okay, there is no excessive faults here, not that I know of. Of course, there's regular fault. Let's say again 400, and again failed inspection. And finally, it looks like finally we have some masks that we can actually call that passes, because I see no torn material, at least not much, and there's no excessive fault, but there's, of course, there is regular fault. Well, it needs to be. So we save it, and now we can submit it. No more images to annotate. Okay, so now all that's left is for Jakub to perform some review of it. So let's, I'd say that we turn over to Jakub's screen and let him perform the review as we've established. So I'm going to stop sharing right now.
Okay, so now we are on the reviewer side. So I've heard that Jarek finished creating project for me. So after refreshing Zillion's website, it should be visible in my project section. Here it is. And of course, to review, we have to click Start Review. The main difference between reviewing and annotating is that if if all the annotations are good enough, you can just accept it. But in the same time, if you think these annotations, if Jarek didn't do a great job, we can of course improve it a little bit and then submit it and accept it. Here you can see that Jarek forgot to measure all of those 3 foldings, so we can edit it. Just click once, click twice. This parameter is set as required, so we have, let's say it's 400 pixels, and again 3rd folding. Okay, and let's say other pictures are okay, so we just accept it, and we are done with reviewing. But in the meantime, I received another shipment of facial masks from China, and I want Jarek to perform exactly the same annotations on them. But in this case, other person from my company, Bogdan Iwiński, will be responsible for reviewing those pictures. So it would be nice if Jarek could create a separate project just to keep everything clean and clear. Of course, I have to add a new data set. Let's call it batch B. And as previously, I just drag and drop those images, upload, and of course the most important thing is to publish dataset. So let's see if Jarek can create a separate project with exactly the same marking tools. Let's see if
Okay.
it's possible or not.
Okay, Jakub, sure. Yes, it actually is very much possible. Let me just share my screen all over again. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it looks like Jakub indeed uploaded a new data set. So all we need to do right now, because Jakub wants a separate data set, and another person will be performing the reviews. Actually, let's add this person first to our data set. It's I know this person. This is Bogdan Iwiński. We already work together. And once again, let's give it the role of the collaborator. We'll use it later. Now, first of all, we need this new project to be exactly the same. To have the same annotation tools, everything should be the same, except obviously we have some new images. So what we need to do right now is first we need to export this data set. Yeah, it seems it's done already. Yeah, it was downloaded, and now we click import from a file. Click next. And maybe let's just drag and drop here. Yeah, it's done. Project configuration and the annotations will all be important. And let's have a look. Everything was uploaded here. So let's see, but the data set that's linked is still batch A. So let's unlink it and instead choose batch B. Okay, now it's done. We have the annotation tools all ready. And now we need to set up who's going to do the annotations. Well, I'm going to do the annotations, and Bogdan Iwiński, the new man, is going to be the reviewer here. So we add in it, and let's call it batch B inspection this time around. We publish it, and as you can see, we're free to let's have a look. We can do the same thing with those masks. We have the exact same attributes. Everything is ready. But we're not going to be doing the annotations right now because we want to see some other things. So let's just go back to the projects. One last thing we wanted to show you is just how you can interact between Zilin IO and the Adaptive Vision Deep Learning Editor. So let's start up the Deep Learning Editor. And let's create a new model. Let's use the feature detection model. And let's create a new folder for it. Model folder. Okay. Okay, and now you can see that right here in the upper left corner, you have the options to import from Zilin as also export to Zilin. Right now, obviously, there's nothing to export. So let's first import from Zilin. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to be exporting this new JSON file. And we need to load images from directory. Actually, in the meantime, I downloaded the images that were uploaded to Zilin by Jakub. So now I have them on my hard drive. So I can go into batch A and yeah, we confirmed that we're importing these data sets. And yeah, so now everything was done, but we need to, right now we need to have a look and see what classes were skipped. Well, the status class was skipped because it's a question. It could not be loaded to the deep learning editor because it's not supported here. But everything else was imported. So let's load the images and have a look. Everything was important. Look, the torn material class, it's here. The excessive fault is here. Everything is here, and even look, it's just 1 pixel wide, so it's not very clear, visible from far, but is actually here. The regular faults are all here. So we're done. All that's left is the question is, can we now export these annotations, modify these annotations, and export them back to Zilin? Yes, we can. We can add a new class. Let's call it strap. Okay, let's change color. Let's give it maybe yellow. Let's use a brush to do it, and we're going to be now annotating those straps here. And I'm very sorry for being so rough around the edges with it, but you know, we're pressed for time, and all I want to do is just simply to give you a rough idea on how you can do it. Sorry, you will see that this this can actually be done with Zilin and the the adaptive vision deep learning add-on. Yeah, so again, it's not very easy shape to draw when you're in something of a hurry, but we don't want also to take too much of your valuable time. We just want you to understand the basics behind it, the theory behind it. Okay, so now we're done. All that's left, we click here, export to Zilin. Let's call it let's just call it export to Zilin, the JSON file. We save it. We fill in the name of the dataset, the person, the annotator, email address. Also export images, yes. Okay, we have it, and now we can, let's do the same thing all over again. We click import from a file, next, we drag and drop this file right here. Next, we import, yes, and we imported the marking tools. And the annotations were imported. The attributes and the questions, they were actually lost in the deep, in the feature detection tool in the Adaptive Vision Studio deep learning add-on, because it is not actually supported right now, at least. But the annotations were all included. So let's just first, once again, let's add me as the annotator. Let's say Jakub again as a reviewer. Let's keep that name. We have the correct dataset linked to it. So as we can see, all four classes were here. So let's publish it and let's start annotation. No, actually we can't, because those annotations were already done. So now it thinks like we should just be reviewing this. And have a look. Everything was imported, and we can now edit the annotations as we like. We can use this tool to mark anything else. If something was missing, we could use this tool to mark some other things. So as you can see, everything can be done. The interaction between the Adaptive Vision deep learning editor works smoothly, and Zilin. Okay, so that's basically what we were going to be talking about today. And I wanted to thank you very much for participating in this presentation, and I deeply hope that that you will find Zilin useful. There is lots of material that you can use that you can consult in order to get a better feel of this service. And if you have any questions at all, please don't forget to write to us at support@zilin.io. We're waiting for you. We're here to help. So we'll provide all the assistance that we can. So thank you very much, and that's all from me. And hope to hear you again. And Jakub.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, see you guys around.